What remains when everything is taken from you? They will not prepare you for it. The world, loud with its distractions, swift with its pleasures, teaches you many things. How to strive, how to win, how to accumulate titles, followers, and temporary forms of applause. But it does not teach you how to lose, how to sit with absence, how to hold silence in your chest like a second heartbeat. No one teaches you how to say goodbye. Not to people, not to seasons, not even to the version of yourself you can no longer be. And so when grief arrives, it feels like an ambush. It has no shape, no language. It leaks into everything. You wake up tired. You speak slower. The air feels heavier. You try to continue, but nothing seems to respond the same way. The familiar has turned strange. Even your own hands don't seem to belong to you. Loss is not a moment. It is an unraveling. And yet, it is within this unraveling that the most important truths emerge, not from the heights of celebration, but from the depth of what is taken away. Pain is not your enemy. It is the clearing fire, the storm that breaks the weak branches, so the strong may be revealed. This journal, these thoughts I've carved into the quiet of my own mind, are not records of triumph. They are records of weathering, of standing still in the ruins of what I once called forever, and learning to see clearly without shelter. You do not need to escape your sorrow. You must walk through it with open eyes. I once believed, as most men do, that strength was in endurance alone, to carry on, to refuse to fall. But there is a deeper strength, a harder one, to let yourself feel fully, to allow the sorrow to pass through you like a river through stone. Not to resist it, not to wall it off, but to survive it without becoming it. There is a silence that comes after great loss. Not the silence of peace, the silence of absence. It has weight, texture. It makes the hours echo. But listen closely. Within that silence is something else. A clarity, a stillness you could not access before, when you were full of noise and certainty. This is the forge of wisdom. Only in the shadow can you see what truly casts the light. You begin to ask yourself questions the world is too afraid to answer. What was real? What remains? What can I never lose, even if I lose everything? These are not easy questions. They are not meant to be. But if you are patient, if you resist the urge to cover the wound too quickly, something astonishing begins to surface. Not hope, not yet, but presence. Raw, unscripted presence. You begin to feel the air again. Not as background, but as breath. You look at the sky, not for signs, but for stillness. You touch the things left behind, a photograph, a coat, a familiar sound, and instead of breaking, you begin to soften. Not all softening is weakness. Sometimes it is the beginning of transformation. The world moves on, they say. But that is not your task. Your task is to remain long enough to understand what you are now, in the wake of what you've lost. And then, to decide what you will do with it. Pain may shape you, but it does not define you. Grief is a sculptor, not a jailer. To endure loss is to be offered a rare and terrible freedom. To choose, with full knowledge of how fragile everything is, to live more deliberately. What is more courageous than that? We speak of resilience as if it is a shield. But it is more like a scar. It does not protect you from pain. It tells the story of pain survived. When you lose something, or someone dear to you, the world does not stop. It spins on, indifferent, as if nothing has changed. But you have changed. You are no longer the one you were before the absence. Grief, like fire, leaves nothing untouched. The temptation is to rebuild quickly, to sweep the ashes into something that resembles normalcy, to smile for others, to return to rhythm. But that is not healing. That is hiding. Do not mistake momentum for meaning. There is no nobility in pretending not to feel. There is only delay. And the truth always waits. Sometimes in dreams. Sometimes in moments of stillness. But it waits. It always finds you. And when it does, do not run. Meet it. Invite it in like a long-awaited guest. Ask it what it came to teach you. Loss strips away illusion. It shows you who truly stayed, what truly mattered, and who you really are when no one is watching. The mask slips, and beneath it, there is not weakness. There is a soul unguarded. You may discover that many things you thought were permanent were not. That even the strongest voices go silent. That even the warmest hands grow cold. But within that, there is a strange and luminous truth. The impermanent things teach us how to cherish the moment. And the enduring things? They teach us how to carry meaning forward. Not everything is lost in loss. There are memories so deeply etched that time cannot touch them. There are values inherited, not by blood, but by presence. And there is love, yes, love, that lingers long after the body is gone. We are not meant to hold on to everything, but neither are we meant to let go of everything. Grief is not about forgetting. It is about weaving the memory into the fabric of who you are now. You are not the same person who loved them before they left. You are something new, someone shaped by sorrow, but not consumed by it. And now, you begin to understand the quiet wisdom spoken by those who have endured before you, that the things which truly belong to you cannot be taken. They are not things at all. They are the lessons they left you, the strength you discovered in breaking, the clarity you found in the silence. And as this new self emerges, slower and more deliberate, you begin to see your path ahead, not as a return to what was, but as an honoring of what remains. You do not move on. You move forward. There is a difference. One abandons the past. The other carries it carefully, like a torch through darkness. And with each step, you become more aware of something most people never understand until it is too late. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us. That is not a sentence for children's stories. That is a compass for the brokenhearted. Because time is the only thing we truly have. Not control, not permanence, only time and what we choose to fill it with. Pain does not erase that power. It clarifies it. Let the world run fast. Let others race toward empty victories. You have been shown the stillness beneath all motion. You now know how quickly it can all change. And because of that, your steps are sacred. You don't waste breath anymore. You don't chase every fire. You walk, eyes open, heart raw but resolute. Because now you see clearly. Everything ends, but not everything is lost. There is a strange power in realizing that nothing lasts. At first, it feels like despair. Why begin if all things end? Why love, if love may leave you hollow? Why build, if time will crumble what you've made? But this is not despair. This is clarity. When you finally accept the impermanence of all things, not just in theory, but in your bones, you begin to live more fully, more honestly, more awake. The fragile things are not lesser because they break. They are more beautiful because they dared to exist at all. Even the shortest moment of joy was a rebellion against the void. Even the smallest gesture of kindness meant something, precisely because it could have been withheld. Nothing lasts, and that's what makes it sacred. Grief reveals this truth by force. It cracks the shell you built around your heart. And from that crack, something grows, not comfort, not yet, but awareness. The way the light moves across the room where they once stood. The way a single song can collapse your breath in the middle of an ordinary day. The way your body still remembers how it felt to hear their voice. You realize they are not entirely gone. They are just no longer here in the way you knew them. And perhaps that is the deepest lesson of all. That what endures is not the form. It is the meaning. It is the way they shaped you. The way they echoed through your decisions. The way they changed the gravity of your soul. No, you cannot go back. But you do not have to go empty. You carry them, not in chains, but in choices. You carry them when you offer kindness without reason. When you listen more than you speak. When you choose restraint over rage, wisdom over noise, presence over distraction. Each of these is a memorial, a living tribute. Not all monuments are made of stone. Some are made of quiet strength, of bearing what feels unbearable without bitterness, of learning to let pain soften you, rather than harden you. You will not always feel strong. But that is not failure. That is honesty. Grief is not linear. Some days you will feel whole. Other days, you will crumble over a memory you thought you had mastered. Let it come. Feel it without shame. You are not going backward. You are deepening. There is no return to who you were before the loss. That person is gone. And that's okay. You are being asked to become someone new. Not despite the pain, but because of it. This is the invisible alchemy of suffering. And when you meet someone else carrying their own invisible grief, you'll see it in their eyes before they ever speak. You will understand. You'll speak gently, move slowly, and give without asking for anything in return. Because you've been there, and because some kinds of love are only born from the ashes. Let them change you. Let the loss become your teacher, not your tormentor. One day, without even realizing it, you will laugh again. Not the forced laughter of survival, but the unguarded laughter of life returning. And when it comes, you will not feel guilt. You will feel gratitude. Not everything is meant to be held onto, but not everything must be let go. Some things live in the space between, carried not in our hands, but in our actions. Not spoken aloud, but lived quietly, in the echo of who we choose to become. There comes a moment, quiet, often unnoticed, when you no longer feel at war with the pain. You still feel it, yes. But it's different now. It no longer claws at the edges of your days. It no longer demands your every breath. It has become part of the landscape, like the sea after a storm, still vast, still powerful, but calmer, deeper. This is not forgetting. This is integration. You will always carry the loss, but it no longer carries you. You are no longer defined by what was taken from you, but by what you chose to build in its wake. And now, in this stillness, you begin to sense something else. A quiet strength, not loud or heroic, but steady, earned. The kind of strength that comes only from facing the darkness without flinching, from sitting with your sorrow until it spoke its final word, and you, in turn, answered with your own. This is how resilience truly works. It does not mean resistance. It means willingness. To feel what must be felt. To stay with what hurts. To soften rather than shatter. We live in a world that rushes to mend what is broken. But we are not porcelain. We are not made less by our fractures. We are made more. More aware. More compassionate. More deliberate. You learn to see the pain of others more clearly, because you have walked through your own. You no longer judge their silence. You understand what silence hides. And this becomes your power. A power not of conquest, but of presence. You do not need to control the world. You do not need to predict every outcome. You simply need to be here fully, alive, awake, accepting. The world will still take from you. Time will still press forward. More losses will come. But you are not afraid. Because now, what truly belongs to you cannot be taken. Not the titles. Not the possessions. Not even the people you love in the way the world defines having. What belongs to you lives in how you love, not in what you hold. It lives in your principles, your presence, your willingness to return to the moment again and again, no matter how much has changed. It lives in your courage to begin each day not in denial, but in truth. To say, yes, this hurts. Yes, I have lost. Yes, I still stand. The storm has passed, but not without cost. You are older now, wiser, not in years, but in experience. You have walked through fire and emerged, not untouched, but transformed. You carry the memories of those you've lost in the way you speak, the way you forgive, the way you choose love over fear. You are a vessel now, not just of your own story, but of the stories of those who shaped you. And though they may be gone from this earth, they are not gone from your life. You are their echo, and you are free. Free not from grief, but from the illusion that you must be ruled by it. You now understand what it means to endure, not to resist the tide, but to become part of the ocean. This is the work of the soul, and as the light returns slowly, you find a kind of peace, not perfect, but real. Not untouched, but honest. You learn to smile again, not despite the pain, but alongside it. And when others come to you, broken and grieving, you will not offer easy answers. You will offer presence, stillness, truth, because you remember how it felt when no one could fix it, and how powerful it was to simply not be alone. So you sit with them, you hold the silence with them, and in doing so, you honor everything you've learned, everything you've lost, everything you've become. This is your legacy, not the monuments you build, but the way you live now, fully, truthfully, gently. And that is what endures.